Welcome to the Mental Health Hub. Today, I want to say again, thank you for joining me again on a Tuesday so that we can learn together. It is our Tuesday of learning, as is our tradition in the Mental Health Hub. Welcome and let us learn together. My name is Dr. Pamela. I am your host for this program. Today, I want to discuss an issue that came up because of a question that was asked in our interactive platform. A family sent a question that they required to be responded to, trying to understand after their significant other had been to the rehab for it was the third time. Now they were worried, how do we help this person not to go back again to this behavior of addiction, as they called it. Recently, we learned about the co-occurring disorders that co-occur or coexists, or one can have even as they have an addiction problem or substance use disorder. So then, today, I want, in response to that person who requested, I want to look at how do we prevent relapse. You will note that some people, by the time they kind of stop using substance, some may be after the first time in rehabilitation. Others may be the fifth or even the third time. What can we do as families? What can we do as friends? What do we do in the programs to be able to help one not to relapse? That is the point or the subject that I want us to look at post-rehabilitation. How do we help one of ourselves not to relapse? I want to say that during rehabilitation, to the tail end of the program, especially like when we are working the 12-step model of treatment, relapse prevention is one of those steps that we take our clients through so that they can develop a plan to stop or to prevent relapse, because relapse is common in addiction treatment. So some of the aspects that we look at is try to help the person identify high-risk situations that may put them back to that relapse or to going back to the behavior that they had. We build the cognitive, the ability of this person to think through, to help them think through what are the high-risk behaviors and situations that they will encounter out there that could make them to relapse, to back to the substance of choice, or even to that illness to an extent that they will require further, maybe going back to rehabilitation again. How do we do this? Having a plan where one is able to identify what are the triggers, what are the things that may make them go back to the to use of substance again. Some of the triggers are the negative emotions. We have discussed here before that the emotions or the feelings that people have at times fuel substance use. What they feel about themselves or the emotions that they have could trigger substance use. So for us to be able to help this person not to relapse, it is part of the plan that they identify the negative emotions that may push them back again to use of substances. Is it loneliness? Is it hunger? Is it self-hate? Is it stresses of life that may put you back? So we help this person to learn how to manage these emotions. But first, it begins with recognizing those negative emotions so that one can be able to manage the negative emotions so that they don't drive them back to use of substances again. Then another thing or another trigger that they learn about so that one doesn't relapse is the places. What are the places that become the memory or the remind them of the substance of use? What are the places that if they go, they will likely use the substance again? What are the places maybe when they pass through the environment that they used to maybe go smoking or where they used to go drinking that could trigger them to use the substance again? We are able to help them identify those places and develop strategies of how to deal with those places. Do you avoid such a place? Do you tell yourself that I will not pass through that bar again or go near that den again because it will likely become the place that will trigger me to use the substance again? So the environment of the drug that they were using before is very, very important so that they know this is the place I used to get the syringes, especially for people abusing, you mean the injecting drug user. So you avoid that place where you used to get your syringe because it will likely trigger. This is the place that I used to go and buy my cocaine or my heroin or get my alcohol. You be keen about that so that that place doesn't become a trigger. Another aspect that we try to help this person with is to identify the people that could make them to relapse. Remember, it is only the identified person or the healed person, the person with addiction, the person with a mental disorder that was in a rehabilitation center. The rest of us, the family, the friends, were not there. We may have gone, especially as a family, been taken through family counseling to be able to understand this person, to be able to help them cope with the mental disorder. But remember, it is them that went through the entire program of rehabilitation. So we need to be able to help them identify the triggers, the people that may trigger them to use the substance again. It is part of the plan. It is them to be able to voice, hey, these people are the people I was drinking with. These were my peers. And they can likely make me slide to use the substance again. So if they identify such people as triggers, then they need to be able to put a strategy in place to avoid such people, or also to be assertive enough to be able to say no. When this person calls you, you tell them no. You are assertive enough to be able to say, I have stopped smoking. I have stopped going to that place where we used to go with you because I don't want it to trigger me back to the substance use. So you cut off this person. You get off the harmful contacts that you have. Some people actually end up changing. If it is a telephone contact, they even change those contacts. They delete those contacts. Because remember, they are still growing. They are still trying to build their skills, even to say no. They are still trying to build their ability to cut off those connections. So at times, even deleting that number, getting away from where you can meet this person is also important. Avoiding the places that you may meet this person. But oftentimes, you may not have a choice if you'll meet this person or not, especially if it is at the workplace. You may not change the workplace. So you need to be able to have skills that you can negotiate, that you can be able to say no to this person who was your friend and who would you would go drinking with, you would go smoking with, you would go to buy the substance of choice with, so that you can be able to say no to such a person. So building your skill to cope post-rehabilitation is very, very important. It is a plan that we put in place to reduce relapse or to stop relapse. Because when one relapses, remember, you had developed tolerance to that substance to a certain level. What do I mean? Before you went to rehabilitation, you would drink maybe 10, 15 beers. You had developed tolerance of the 15 beers, or let's say 10 beers, or you had developed tolerance of a certain number of thoughts. Because the body had developed that tolerance. When you relapse, you will need more of that substance so that then you can feel high. So you will end up taking more than you used to take before you went to rehabilitation. So that's where you find families say he has even become worse, or she has even become worse than she was before she went to rehabilitation. Likely because of the tolerance. So it is good to be able to build or to have a plan that will help you deal with the three triggers: the people, the places, and the things that will make you go back to substance use. Things like the paraphernalia. Let's say a certain way you used to wear, or certain things, items that are identified with one substance or the other. You need to be able to avoid such things. Are they the needles? Are they the bottles? Are they the clothing materials that could be identified with this substance of choice? You need to be able to be armed with enough skills, coping skills, strategies, to be able to avoid the triggers that would put this person to relapse. So as family, we need to be aware that relapse is likely after rehabilitation. But when we give support to this, our beloved person or our significant other, they will be able to scale through life and likely not relapse. Even the way we talk to them. Before this person went to rehabilitation, you used to hide everything in the house. Everything was locked because you didn't trust them. Trust and been lost along the line because this person would take everything valuable in the house and sell or trade for the substance of choice. This person has been to the rehabilitation. You have not been there. They learned what the substance had done to them, how the family was coping. So if you still manifest this behavior, you kind of make this person feel not wanted, feel that you could push them back to the substance of choice if that is what they interpret, how they interpret that behavior, the way you are treating them after rehabilitation. That's why rehabilitation or treatment, especially for substance use, is not only for the person that is identified. It cuts across to the family and the significant others, so that then we can be able to build skill and support. And that's why you find there are support mechanisms, not only for the person who is addicted, but also for the families. For the people out of recovery or out of rehabilitation center, we have group meetings. We have the ones we call Alcoholic Anonymous or Narcotic Anonymous. The AA and the NA groups, they know where they meet. They are referred to those groups that are within their locality, so that they go there and they are supported to recover. What of the family members? What do we do? We have also groups. Thank God for the understanding that it is important for the family members also to be supported. We have groups that support the families of the alcoholics or the people after rehabilitation, like the Al-Anon that support the families. There are groups that support the codependents of the person with a substance use issue. There are groups that support the teenagers or the Alteen for the teenagers of the people that are recovering from alcohol. They are the Alatot for the young children of the alcoholics that also support. Because remember, as we learned earlier, is that when one is abusing substances in a family, if you look at that family, every member of the family as a way they cope, which ends up being a dysfunction. So this needs to be addressed, and it can only be addressed in a group way with a group of people who are going through the same or who have been through the same. That's why we have the Alateen, Al-Anon, the groups that deal with the codependents, the group that deal with the children of the alcoholic, the adult children of alcoholic, the teenage children. Today we have supporting groups, even for various mental disorders. Like we'll have a place where people with who are recovering from sex addiction, they meet. We have people with other mental disorders where it is important that these people come along and support one another, learn together, develop coping mechanisms together, so that we engender growth, not only for the person that is on treatment, but for the other people that surround them. So I hope this has answered our question. The question that I was asked, what do we do to prevent this person from relapsing again? So I want to say relapse prevention is very, very important, and we need to be able to learn how to stop or to minimize the likeliness of a person who has come from rehabilitation from relapsing. It is possible, but remember, we have to work with the professionals as well, because post-treatment there is need for support for the person who was in a rehabilitation center, and also for the family that is supporting that person, including at the workplace. We need to come up with programs that will be able to help the workplace to cope, so that we can be able to help this person not to relapse or go back to that behavior of abusing the substance of choice. I wish to bring this to an end at this point and remind us that this is our platform. This is your platform. The more we raise awareness by liking, sharing, and also subscribing, the more we have more people engaging in this very pertinent issue so that we have a healthy population. See you in the next episode. Thank you.